For millennia, the top of our world was a place of stillness, a frozen fortress of white, locked in perpetual darkness during the deep winter. It was Earth's shield, reflecting the sun's intensity back into the void of space. It was the planet's thermostat, regulating weather systems thousands of miles away. We always knew it was changing. We spent decades measuring the retreat in centimeters, then meters. But today, standing here in December 2025, the era of gradual change is over. What we are witnessing now is no longer a retreat. It is an unraveling. Reports pouring in from research stations across the polar circle this month confirm our worst scientific fears. The Arctic is not just warming, it is undergoing a cascading system failure. Welcome back to Spectra Verse. Today, we are abandoning the usual format to bring you an urgent deep dive into a planetary emergency unfolding right now, in real time. A new analysis released this week via major scientific outlets, summarizing data from late 2025, paints a picture of impacts that are unprecedented in human history. These aren't isolated events, they are falling dominoes. One system breaks, triggering the collapse of the next, and the next faster than our models predicted. Today, we are going to map this cascade. We will look at the physics, the biology, and the terrifying feedback loops that define the Arctic of late 2025. Why is this winter different? And what does this cascading failure mean for the rest of us living down south? This is the story of the Great Melting. Chapter 1, the broken thermostat. To understand the cascade, we must first understand the trigger. In December 2025, the fundamental physics of the Arctic winter have broken down. Normally, this is the time of deep freeze. The sun is gone. The heat accumulated during the summer should be venting out into space, allowing the ice to regrow thick and strong. But look at these temperature anomalies. Parts of the Arctic basin are currently registering temperatures 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, above the historical average for December. It's still freezing, yes, but in planetary terms, this is a heat wave in the dead of winter. Why? The answer lies not just in the air, but in the water. Scientists call it Atlantification. For years, warm, salty water from the Atlantic has been creeping northward. Previously, a layer of colder, fresher water near the surface acted as a lid, keeping that deep Atlantic heat trapped. In 2025, that lid has fractured. The warm Atlantic water is churning upward, bringing enormous amounts of thermal energy right to the surface. The ocean itself is now acting as a heater, preventing the atmosphere from cooling down enough to form thick ice. The Arctic Ocean is literally eating its own ice cover from below. Simultaneously, the atmospheric engine is sputtering. The temperature difference between the equator and the pole is what drives the jet stream, that river of fast-moving air high above us. As the Arctic warms rapidly, that temperature difference shrinks. The jet stream slows down, it gets wobbly. Instead of a tight circle keeping cold air locked up north, we get these massive, lazy meanders. This creates stuck weather patterns. In December 2025, we are seeing pulses of warm, moist air from the Pacific and Atlantic invading the deep Arctic, bringing rain, yes rain, near the North Pole in winter. This physical setup, a hot ocean below and invading warm air above, is the first domino. It sets the stage for the most catastrophic feedback loop of all, the loss of the Albedo shield. Chapter 2, the Vanishing shield. The most powerful weapon the Arctic has against warming is its whiteness. It's simple physics. White surfaces reflect energy, dark surfaces absorb it. This is the albedo effect. For millions of years, the vast expanse of sea ice acted like a giant mirror at the top of the world, bouncing up to 80% of incoming solar radiation back into space. We all know the summer sea ice minimums have been crashing. We've seen the headlines for years, but the terrifying story of late 2025 is the failure of recovery. Because of the ocean heat we just discussed, when the sun set for the winter this year, the water was too warm to freeze efficiently. The ice that has formed this December is frighteningly thin, sometimes just centimeters thick, brittle and slushy, instead of meters of multi-year hardpack. This is the definition of a cascading positive feedback loop. Less ice means more dark. Open ocean is exposed throughout the year. The dark ocean absorbs vast amounts of solar energy during the long summer days. That stored heat is now being released back into the atmosphere in winter, further preventing new ice from forming. The mirror is shattering. And as it shatters, the Arctic changes from a cooling agent for the planet into a heat absorber. The implications of this are staggering. We are approaching a point where the Arctic Ocean could become functionally ice-free in the summer within the next few years. But the cascade doesn't stop at physics. When you change the fundamental environment so radically and so quickly, life itself begins to buckle. Chapter 3, the biological crash. Life in the Arctic is a masterclass in timing. Everything here depends on the rhythm of the ice. The entire food web, from the tiniest zooplankton to the massive bowhead whale, is synchronized to the seasonal pulse of freezing and melting. U-200b in 2025, that rhythm has become chaotic noise. The cascade is tearing the ecosystem apart at the seams. It begins at the bottom of the food chain. The timing of the spring phytoplankton bloom, the foundation of all Arctic marine life, is shifting because of the thinning ice and changing light levels. U-200b, the zooplankton that feed on this algae, are missing their dinner appointment. This creates a trophic mismatch. If the base of the pyramid crumbles, everything above it starves. We see the most visible victims on the surface. Pacific walruses, deprived of the sea ice platforms they need for resting between dives for clams, are forced ashore in overcrowded, deadly haulouts. U-200b polar bears, the icons of the Arctic, are facing an existential crisis this winter. They rely on sea ice as a hunting platform to catch seals. With the ice forming late and remaining thin, their hunting season is tragically shortened. They are spending more energy swimming and less time eating, leading to lower reproduction rates and starvation. But the cascade creates strange new realities too. As the water warms, southern species are invading. Atlantic cod, mackerel, and capelin are pushing further north than ever before in 2025, competing with native Arctic species. U-200b, this isn't just a biological shift, it's a geopolitical one. Fishing fleets from around the world are eyeing these newly accessible, unregulated waters, threatening an ecosystem already under immense stress. U-200b, the biological cascade, is a tragedy of lost synchronization. But while the ocean crisis is visible, an even bigger threat is stirring on land. A sleeping giant is waking up. Chapter 4. The Sleeping Giants. For thousands of years, the land surrounding the Arctic Ocean has been held together by ice. Permafrost, ground that remains frozen year-round, is the glue that holds the northern landscape intact. It supports forests, roads, pipelines, and entire communities. U-200b, but in December 2025, the glue is melting. The unprecedented air temperatures are penetrating deep into the ground. The immediate cascade here is physical infrastructure failure. Across northern Canada, Alaska, and Siberia, we are seeing roads buckle into roller coaster tracks. Foundations of buildings are shifting as the solid ground beneath them turns to mud. Coastal erosion is accelerating rapidly, as the lack of sea ice allows winter storms to batter soft, thawing shorelines, washing entire villages into the ocean. U-200b, but the terrifying part of the permafrost cascade isn't what happens to the ground. It's what comes out of it. Locked within this frozen soil is unimaginably vast amounts of ancient organic matter. Dead plants and animals accumulated over millennia. As long as it was frozen, it was safe. U-200b, but as it thaws, microbes begin to feast on this ancient carbon. As they digest it, they release greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, and, much more dangerously, methane. Methane is a greenhouse gas over 80 times more potent than CO2 in the short term. The data from late 2025 shows spikes in atmospheric methane concentrations over Siberian permafrost that are literally off the charts of previous years. U-200b, this is the ultimate cascading feedback loop. The warmer the world gets, the more permafrost thaws. The more permafrost thaws, the more methane is released. The more methane is released, the warmer the world gets. U-200b, this is a natural carbon bomb that humans did not build, but we have triggered its fuse. What we are seeing in December 2025 is not just a collection of sad nature stories. It is a systemic collapse of a vital planetary organ. The cascade is the realization that these systems are not separate. The hot Atlantic water breaks the sea ice. The broken ice disrupts the food web and changes the jet stream. The changed atmosphere thaws the permafrost, releasing methane that further heats the atmosphere and the ocean. It is a giant accelerating echo chamber, and the final domino in the cascade falls right in your backyard. What happens in the Arctic doesn't stay in the Arctic. That destabilized jet stream we talked about, that's what brought the unprecedented heat dome to the American Midwest last summer, and the devastating floods to Southeast Asia. A warming Arctic disrupts weather patterns globally, threatening agriculture, water security, and economic stability everywhere. The cascade that begins at the pole ends on your doorstep. The data from this month, December 2025, is a clarion call. We have crossed thresholds we can't easily uncross. The Arctic as we knew it, the stable, frozen top of the world, is gone. We now live with a new, volatile, and rapidly changing North. The universe is full of mysteries, but the unraveling of our own planet's life support system is the most critical story we will ever tell. Thank you for watching this Spectra Verse deep dive. The situation is evolving rapidly, and we will continue to track the data as this unprecedented winter continues.